Hello again from my front porch. I am here with my good buddy McCoy again today, partly because McCoy is just always out here on the front porch now. It's nice to see you, McCoy. Cat got your tongue? Oh, sorry. Oh, but seriously, McCoy is actually going to help me illustrate what it was that I want to talk about today. Now, my brain works in odd ways, a lot. I also think in analogies. Now, it helps me in my training capacities, but it just is a factor of life that I often will hear about one thing and I extrapolate that and apply it to another thing. And so this is one example of that. I want to talk about cartilage. You know, cartilage, the muscular-like stretchy stuff inside our bodies, not inside good old McCoy's body here, unfortunately. But he's illustrating for me what it looks like without the cartilage. Now, there are actually three different kinds of cartilage in the body, and I'm not going to get into what those three things are because, number one, I am not even remotely qualified to be able to have an intelligent discussion about those things, and I don't want to screw that up. But also, this doesn't really apply to the analogy that I'm drawing. Anyway, I'm just talking about cartilage. Now, the reason it was on my mind is because my mom is scheduled to have surgery here later this month on her knee because her knee has lost all of its cartilage and is now bone on bone. So you know, just those bones rubbing against each other, and there's nothing, no padding between them, and that's a problem because it creates tremendous pain and discomfort. Now, what I don't know is how much of the cartilage is gone. I get the impression that all of the cartilage is gone, hence the reason for the surgery. But the reason I say how much is because, like just in the knee, there are at least two different ways that cartilage is used. There is that padding between the joints that we often commonly think of. But cartilage also is on the outside of that joint as well, with a function of trying to hold the bones in place that are trying to do their thing as they're moving around. Without both types of cartilage there, we would have not only pain, but the bones would just keep sliding around and doing their own thing. And that would just not be very efficient at all. So in order for our joints to work correctly, there has to be that level of cartilage on inside that's keeping them buffered and outside that's keeping them in place. Cartilage also shows up in places. This is what McCoy is showing us. Look at his nose. It's not, when the skin and all that organic stuff is gone, that's what our nose looks like. Just a big, sorry, I didn't mean to pick your nose there. You can pick your friends and you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose, even if he's a skeleton. Sorry, McCoy. But this right here, all of this, the nose thing, that's not bone, that's cartilage. When people talk about breaking their nose, they get their nose broke, it's because this cartilage, which is very, very solid, very hard, harder than, say, the cartilage that is in the knee, that's the squishy padding there. But this cartilage, it's like bone. In fact, when we're born as babies, we don't have solid bones. If we did, it could never come out the birthing canal, all that kind of stuff. Pretty much all the bones are like our noses become. This harder cartilage that can move and bend and give and break and then kind of grow back together, hopefully straight. But that's what we've got going on here. But back to the example of the cartilage where it's in a joint, because that's really where I want to focus the analogy. I got to thinking about how we interact with other people around us. Coworkers, family, neighbors, random people at the store, in traffic. And I got to thinking about whether or not we are cartilage. Now, cartilage is a very unselfish thing. Because in order for cartilage to do its job, it has to be willing to be stretched and strained and squished and mashed and mangled. Hopefully not mangled, but you know what I'm saying. That it has to. It's like, you got your Play-Doh and you're really, wow, an analogy within an analogy. But you're really pushing the Play-Doh, squishing it around. But anyway, that's what cartilage does. It's got to be willing to be misshapen and stretched and strained in those ways. we, especially here in America, we're not really good at that concept. You know, that selflessness. We're really good at self. We've got that down pretty good. We're really good at looking out for self. We're not really so good anymore at looking out for others around us in a selfless kind of way. And yet, I want you to really think about this. All of us, on almost a daily basis, come into contact with situations in which there is like a bone-on-bone kind of thing going on, and we need, or that situation may need, some cartilage, some padding in there to keep the bone from rubbing, some cartilage on the outside to help direct that joint, to keep it from misfiring and misfunctioning the way that it is. Sometimes all that is needed is just a little extra help, a little cushion, a little guidance, a little direction. And that can make all the difference in the world to others around us. Now, I'm not asking us to be busybodies and sticking our nose in where they don't belong. That's a good way to get yourself beat up. But all of us need to be more aware of the people around us and the things that are going on and the opportunities that present themselves for us to not think, oh wow, somebody should do something about that. You know what? Guess who is somebody? Yeah, that's right. See, even McCoy knows. Sometimes we need to be willing to be the one that gets squished, the one that gets stretched, the one that gets bent and twisted so that we can help correct a situation or guide a situation or support a situation that otherwise will not succeed. Now, I'm not suggesting that we all become just pushovers or just, you know, lay down on the floor and let everyone walk all over us. That's not what I'm saying. Sometimes you do got to show some backbone. Right, McCoy? I mean, he's got his fully on display right now. But so I'm not talking about being all milquetoast and a weakling. That's not what I'm saying. But the problem is we get so worried about not being that we swing the pendulum too far the other way, and we do not step up at times where it makes sense for us to say, I'll take the hit for this so that it can go. Think of the billy goats on the mountain trails. Another analogy within an analogy. The billy goats on the trails that come up to each other, you know, you'd think, well, they're going to butt horns, they're going to fight over who gets to pass. But no, what will happen is one of them will lay down and the other one literally walks on their back and climbs around. Now, does that mean one of them is more important or is the other one's subservient? No, it just means they both understand they have a mutual goal of making it on this pass, and all it requires is that one of them suck it up and be the cartilage, be the cushion, be the one who gets walked on so that they can both keep moving on their path. We need to have that mindset too. We need to have a cartilage mentality. That's what was on my mind. Was it on your mind too? Sure. All right, well, on behalf of McCoy, who's apparently his lips are sealed. Oh, sorry. You're really gonna hold this against me, aren't you? Anyway, I'll see y'all next time from my front porch.